Is being a YouTuber or a content creator a job? In my opinion, yes. Yes, it is. Like many other people that would argue for it, my basic argument would be if there's an audience watching videos, in other words, a huge audience, and they're willing to sit through ads or even buy merchandise from this person and watch their content avidly, this person is supplying a service. Not necessarily a traditional kind of service when it comes to entertainment, perhaps not as a high budget or high production, but it is a service that is getting paid for in a really different kind of way from what you'd expect. The way the agreement is supposed to work for a content creator is that when you sign up for monetization with YouTube, or rather Google, they promise you X amount of money for ads watched, for views accumulated, for comments made. You get X amount of money for that. The more views and the higher the statistics you have, the more money you get. It seems pretty basic, and for the most part, it's pretty much worked. Of course, there's been people that have pretty much abused the system and manipulated their way to the top, but again, it's such a new concept, still such a new, novel idea and set of career, or a new career in and of itself. It's so new that there really are no hard and fast rules or outlined stipulations of what can or should be done. You could technically argue that being a content creator encapsulates a very particular role, a very specific kind of video, a very specific kind of output, a very specific kind of schedule, etc. But in reality, no. The agreement between a content creator and Google is so loose. They could upload maybe 3 videos a week, they could upload 100. It varies from person to person, and since pretty much everybody can do it, you have tons of competition. It's a booming, it's a thriving occupation, but it's still new. Personally, looking at it from an objective point of view, I say objective instead of subjective, since I've never really had some sort of deep, burning, thriving desire to make a YouTube channel and get on there and beg people for subscribers and comments and put at the end of every video, please comment and subscribe. That's always irritated me personally. If a person wants to freaking subscribe, they'll click the freaking button. If they like your content, they'll push the button, okay? There's no need for you to go on there and beg for people to subscribe. Just check that bullshit out. Just, no. No. That aside, I can't help being kind of skeptic towards myself being a content creator personally. There's lots of competition, tons of people vying for the same career as what you are, making the same kind of content you are, and probably better. There's lots of people with a bigger audience than what you have. Of course, it's the same with any kind of career, but with this, you have tons and tons of competition because virtually anybody can be a content creator. And not just that, because your profit is so closely tied with how many views and how big your audience is. It's a huge popularity contest. Personally, I have always hated the concept of a popularity contest with a passion. So, that being considered, I would hate to try and gamble with a job where that was my biggest goal, where I had to create videos that were along the same lines as what the popular kids are doing, or what these popular people are doing, or trying to appeal to a very specific demographic, hoping to get more of them to watch my videos and watch my stats climb. I don't want to be looking at stats. even though there's quite a few people who have managed to be successful on YouTube due to quality and quality alone, that number is so rare in comparison to how many Ray William Johnson wannabes there are, how many iJustine wannabes there are, how many just bland, vapid, BS types of users there are. There's just so many of them. As some of the more critical and social commentary type of YouTubers have said, YouTube is a breeding ground for mediocrity. Popularity contest describes it to a T. I won't deny that I've considered possibly trying a couple of times. I've thought about monetizing videos. I even sort of started the process, but then just stopped. I'll even be bluntly, brutally honest with myself here. I don't think I'd make enough to even get one paycheck out of this. Probably not even in under a year. It'd probably be 10 years before I made close to enough to draw out the first paycheck. And I've heard so many horror stories about how YouTube can screw you over, take out AdSense, take away the ad money at any given time. And it's just, that's another thing. Beyond just the popularity contest, I'll stop avoiding the elephant in the room. With the new Content ID match system, there's no way the little guy can start climbing up towards the top, now is there? There's just not. If you even have an Adventure Time poster in your background, if you're wearing a t-shirt with a copyrighted character on it, have any kind of music in the background whatsoever, they're gonna smush you like a bug. And that's considering they don't just deny your request for monetization in the first place based on they didn't like the color of your shirt, or it was just automatically denied because they're so overrun and overwhelmed with so many requests for that already. Google would not be a dependable employer. I guess my point with even bringing up my own speculations or thoughts about the concept of being a content creator whatsoever is that you gotta find employment somewhere other than Google. You gotta find employment somewhere other than YouTube. You gotta get clever. You gotta make your own merchandise. Make a deal with somebody to sell merchandise with your slogan or some catchphrase on it. Use a secondary skill you had to make a deal with somebody and start selling merchandise. Or, better yet, and dare I say it, just use YouTube as a platform to advertise for your own website or your other channel on Blip. Or Dailymotion, just some other site. There's a particular anime reviewer whose videos I like to look up every so often. Every single one of his most recent videos uploaded to YouTube is just an advertisement to the videos he's uploaded on Blip. You have to click the link in the description. And really, that's not too much to ask. That's really not too much to request on his part. So, with that being said, some of the bigger guys, like Angry Joe, and some of these other people, losing their heads and rattling them around and shaking them at YouTube and getting all upset about the Content ID system, stick it to them! Just use YouTube as an advertising ground, advertise your videos somewhere else. Hell, Angry Joe, your profits might be down a little bit, but there's a way to build them back up. You're affiliated with that guy with the friggin' glasses. Use YouTube as a means to advertise videos on your own site. Doug can do it, so could you. You're a huge icon. You're a huge icon for the gaming community. Use that iconic power. Use it to your advantage. Get other people to follow you over there. That would be the best way to stick it to the man. That would be the best way. Instead of trying to get YouTube to level with you and change their system, as everybody else is saying, as every other single comment I've said would be the solution, that that said would be the solution. Go to another site. Go to another site. Blip is a perfect venue waiting to happen. That's how Doug and everybody on That Guy with the Glasses makes their revenue for the most part. And despite Linkara's ad gate and all that stuff, it's obvious he makes enough to make a living off of it, as does Doug. That's not going to be the case for everybody, but regardless, use that star power to bring people over to Blip. Beef that puppy up. Beef it up. Give YouTube that well-deserved competitive noogie. Somebody's got to stick it to Google, and that's the best way you can do it. That is the best way you can do it. And even though I'm not a content creator, I am one of your fans. I'm a fan of you guys. I'm a fan of your work. I want to support you. And as a fan, I am raising my fist, my revolutionary fist, and saying, let's move to Blip. Let's move to Daily Motion. Let's show that big corporate machine Google. Let's show them.